got to clear up some things. This dimension, especially when you're incarnated in this human form, this amplifies everything. It's almost like a strong drug trip for the consciousness. Consciousness is formless. Consciousness doesn't have a vehicle, so it can't experience form unless it has a vehicle to like drive through the form. Well, there's different planes of existence which has more lighter forms than this heavy car. It's like the difference between a car, like this, what we have here on Earth, automobiles versus like UFOs or something. UFO, you can just get there, easy. They're fine-tuned vehicles, efficient. Here, let's say you have an old '85 Ford Escort. Doesn't run right. It's imbalanced. The engine, the transmission, the tires, everything, suspension. Okay, so this is what it's like. It's different though. For some, it's much worse than others. For some here, maybe they're driving a BMW or Mercedes or Toyota Camry. That's what I have. That runs more smooth. It's more. There's less problems. Versus if you have some, Escort or a Yugo. Remember the Yugos? They were out like for 2 years or something. And I remember a guy I was selling cars with. He was driving a Yugo, and people used to make fun of him until he outsold everybody and then bought a brand new car. So you never know. But here you can't just upgrade your car so easy because of certain karmic laws and destiny. We're here with a certain destiny, and not everybody's destiny is the same. Doesn't matter. Bottom line, compared to this realm, compared to other realms, this is a very dense, high pressure, intense realm to exist on. Therefore, don't let the idea or thought, because you read it somewhere or heard it somewhere, that says, yeah, but if I was like more spiritual, then there would be more balance. I'm going to go over what it means to be in a human body, physical body, emotional body, mental body. We're dipped in deep delusion, layers of delusion. And so the mind thinks, well, if I was like really spiritual, I just wouldn't have any issues. Things would be smooth. And I want to drive home the point, it's not that you're not spiritual. It's not a spiritual failure. It's like a mechanical failure. Your body's biology is not really up to par. That's the failure. That's a divine mistake though, because that's what causes you to work through karma and burn identity. All right, karma, people get confused. Burns identity and can liberate you. I'm going to make another video how this is the only plane that can really liberate you, ironically enough. The other planes are easier. The identity's thinner. You don't come into such an extreme, plane of intense duality, and you don't have for example, on the astral plane, you don't have a nervous system that just amplifies everything. Here, everything's amplified. Your experiences, your feelings, your life and death, survival mechanisms at play, it's intense. You don't have that on the other planes. Here you feel pain, you feel exhausted, fatigue. You think you think that doesn't impact how the deepest part of your being, your spiritual self, you don't think that is going to impact how that flows through? Of course it does. So the different layers of delusion that the consciousness is steeped in, you're embodied in delusion. This is why this, in some more intense than others, their vehicle is malfunctioning more than others. That's why you can't compare yourself to anybody, because like you have a total different karmic configuration than them. And that's why be very careful who you listen to. because they're speaking based on their dream that they're living in, and they're speaking to a certain, even the spiritual teachers, they're speaking to a certain audience. They're on their own trip. Don't try to apply that to you. The things that should apply to you are the things that intuitively resonate with you. You have to develop the intuition, otherwise you'll be lost. Otherwise the mind gets confused and starts trying to compare itself to a whole different being that's on a total different trajectory. It has nothing to do with you, but your mind's like comparing your expression of spirituality to them. You get brain damage. That's delusional. It's the other thing that's difficult about this plane. You get all different levels of consciousness all mixed together here. You got collective level consciousness, which is it's like group consciousness. They're all pretty much thinking the same thing, doing the same thing. It's almost like a group soul, but it's not, because they're in human form. But it's a collective, big group where consciousness functions the same in all of them. Then you have individual level of consciousness. These are the beings I'm talking to. I can't really help the mainstream. The life force doesn't move me to. And there's enough people and videos and books out there that only talk to mainstream. So there's no shortage of people that are trying to guide them. But then you have the individuals, which I have some inner feeling to speak to. You have your own destiny, your own specific karmic things that you're working on. It's different than everybody. Yeah. So those beings they can have a hard go. But here's the irony. You could be on the last arc, so to speak, of your soul journey. You finish this karma and finish your assignment here, your karmic contract that you come here to do. You'll be free, man. I'm making a video on that too. This next series of videos. Yeah, we're gonna hit all these things, So the physical body, though, it's one layer of delusion. You got the nervous system, you got the limbic system, you got the biology, you got all the different chemistry, hormones, steroids, so much chemistry that has the chance of getting out of balance. When that gets out of balance, that affects you. When nerve signals start going haywire, it affects everything. Your level of energy, how you react to people, how you feel when you get up in the morning, if you're able to meditate or not, your interactions with people. Can you go work, your efficiency when you go work and have a job, how much money, your potential of making money, all these things, your potential for relationships, your capacity. Your biology affects all that, but that's not related to your spirituality. This is, I really want to drive home this point, because this is a deep delusion. I was doing a private session with the girl, and that came up. We were talking about that. Your spirituality doesn't erase your biology. I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't. It could. You could, I'm making another video on that too. When and why certain miracles can happen that can just kind of rewire your whole orientation. I'll say this, it's very rare, number one. And number two, when it does happen, it has nothing to do with you. It's not personal. It's because that was seen as a good for the whole. And so maybe there was some miracle that took place. I'm gonna make another video on that. But it has nothing to do, spirituality, you can be very high level and still have a very imbalanced biology, which can affect your expression in your physical experience. You have spiritual peace, you have physical peace. Don't mix the two together. I mean, you can, but you're going to cause more trouble for yourself. It's like if you have the ocean, you have the depth of the ocean, and then a tsunami hits the ocean. The depth of the ocean isn't affected. It's the waves, it's the surface level that's affected. It's all rough. Ocean's cool. The depth of the ocean's cool. It's the same in our being. Our true nature, our deepest, intangible, formless nature, essence, it's not affected by the biology. That's at peace. But on a physical level, which is how the consciousness wants to focus right now. It localizes itself on a more physical surface level within the delusion of these bodies. That expression can express less peace if you have a very imbalanced car that you're driving, the physical body, mental body, emotional body. The problem is you get people with a different karmic configuration come here. They don't have those imbalances, and then they'll start talking to you like there's something, like even they're inferring it indirectly. Even if they're doing that, it's getting in. Because I deal with this brain damage from people, so I know these people that are speaking who don't relate to you or understand you, it's like they're inferring that there's something wrong with you. And if you were more spiritual, if you could just meditate, or if you can just realize, wait, I'm not this body, that it's as easy as that. No, it's not. If that was the case, if spirituality erased biology, then the masters would live forever. Once you realized your source, you just live forever. But yet, Ramana Maharshi, he had cancer. Nasargadatta had emphysema. Buddha had a bacterial infection he got from eating some bad food. I mean, the list goes on and on. So your spirituality doesn't balance out your biology. It can reduce symptoms, sure, because when the nervous system relaxes, then there can be less symptoms. But it depends on how severe the biology is imbalanced. It's all these factors. So the physical body, man, is a hell of a thing to have to work with and navigate. And of course, that's going to affect your expression. And it has nothing to do with your level of spirituality. This I want to drive home. I don't know how many can hear it because the conditioning's strong. Something says, no, but really, if I was more spiritual, I just don't think I'd have these problems. I say, okay, that's okay. Keep believing that. You can't help it anyway. Believe that until you realize it's not true. I did. So you have the physical body, that's very limited and imperfect. Then you have the emotional body. That intensifies the hell out of your feelings and emotions. It amplifies it because the nervous system, that's how it works. And then you have trauma. That's emotional body. And you have childhood wounds that get activated when somebody says something, or if you're in a relationship, all of a sudden your partner becomes your mother or dad who abused you or hurt you, and then you take it out on them, and then you wonder why you reacted so much. Oh, what's wrong with me? That's all biological stuff that we got to work through. Deep delusion. The consciousness is embodied right now in deep delusion. No matter how high level a person is, if you see them in a human form, they're deluded, period. They may be more refined. Delusion might be, a little less, but they're deluded. You have to be. If we really woke up totally while in this form, we just dematerialize. So we're not supposed to. Consciousness wants to wear the 3D headset for a while and learn what it has to learn. Then it takes it off, and then we're in astral plane, and then it's like we can relax a bit. Then we enjoy the fruits of our labor that we put in here, if we put in any. Those beings who were just unconscious here and acted a fool, then they're going to be in that loop again when they go to astral. It's just the laws of how it's all about frequency. I wrote some things because, as you can see, it's a good topic. Okay, the mental body. So you got the physical body we talked about, emotional body. Now you got the mental body and the mind. So I've listed all the delusions that come from the physical and emotional. Don't stop there. Then we got the mental body, conditioning that we absorb growing up, family and society, and like we get programmed with all these ideas and dogma, and it's not even our own truth. We're just repeating what we heard, all that conditioning. And we got bad habits that we get, usually because we're trying to at least unconsciously balance our biology, because it's hard to live with. It's painful. We have a nervous system, physical body. We feel pain, some more intense than others. So then we pick up bad habits, trying to buffer the pain. That's okay. You're not going to get punished for that. When you drop this body, all that drops away too. You don't have the biology anymore. You don't have the nervous system anymore. So any habits you had here that you were using to buffer they go too. What stays, what sticks, what causes you to come back here, it's another video, is identity. Do you feel, ask yourself this question all the time, contemplate it, and some days your answer will be more intense than others. Do you really believe yourself to be this little thing, this human body with its emotions and all that? It feels real, yeah, I'm not talking about that, of course. Don't deny that it doesn't feel real, but do you really think this is what you are? Do you feel this is what you are? Not intellectually, just sense. Does something know this isn't what you are? This is the benefit of, like in the last video, if people experienced astral projection or near-death experiences or deep meditations, when you leave the body, you realize, damn, yeah, this physical body's not me. Actually, no body's me. Even the astral body's not me, but it's a more subtle body. So contemplate that question. Do I really think this is, like, is this me? And if you know it's not you, then this imbalance to biology, this imbalance, all these little personality defects you have, I'm making a video on that too, how that doesn't matter. Those things you don't take so serious. Even the painful, this is the challenge, the painful situations and disorders and health situations or relationships you're in or money problems, you somehow don't take, because you've already recognized to some degree, this isn't you. This is a character, God's own little self-portrait that it made, and it's playing through this character. It like wrote a fable through this character, and it's playing it out. When you know that, you somehow let this karmic process happen and unfold. If you do that, if that's a real spiritual practice, see, because then that's the only thing that matters, really. When it gets right down to it, in terms of liberation, it's not how you look on the outside and are you smiling and namaste. No, that's like superficial. What really matters is the identity. How much do you really identify with this human puppet self with all its little issues and, ooh, I have to overcome this, or this is me and I need to overcome this so that I can do this and all that. How much do you really believe in that? If you don't, you're super on your way to freedom. Then you don't have to come back here unless you want to somehow. You come back to serve or do something, but you're not compelled. The process won't be involuntary and automatic because you don't have that karma to bring you back. Because you don't feel like you need, that there's a strong you that needs to finish this, has to work on this. No, this thing gets finished when it gets finished. You don't take it personal. It's like not your business. The same like if somebody else out here has some struggle with their heart or something. They have heart problems. And you don't know them. It's like not your business. You don't take it too serious. It's not personal. But your little self, you take super personal. You're never going to have the same distance that you have between you and yourself as you and somebody else. But I mean, because it's impossible, because consciousness is wearing the 3D headset. So you're supposed to feel like there's a you and that it's real and it's like, it's intimate, it's serious. But you can step that way down. The identity thins out. This is all that matters. So having a mental body makes the identity very strong when we come here. Most people, they have no idea what we're talking about when we say you're not you. They just don't know what you're saying because of the delusion is so strong. This mental body is super strong, and then it builds an ego. The ego is the identity. Ego's not when you say, I'm the best spiritual teacher in the world. That's like a symptom of ego. Real ego means individual, strong belief in individual autonomy. That there's this individual self. You really believe that's what you are. That's ego. So here on this plane, because we're steeped in such delusion, so many layers of bodies, that ego's strong, that identity is strong. I'm listing the ways of why this plane of existence is hard and unlike any other plane. That's my point. I'm not listing all these to, it's not a pessimistic thing like, oh, you might as well just kill yourself now. No, I'm speaking more to those people because I know people had brain damage like I used to, with the self-judgment, negative self-talk, and comparing to others. It's like you have to bring things in perspective and look what you're dealing with while you're living on this plane. This will grow your spirituality quicker if you're smart about it. Because you won't take it so serious, because you know it's not you. It's a costume you're wearing. Your costume's like flawed. Everybody's costume is, but some more than others. This isn't an even playing field. We're all born the same way and the same, we have the same chance. No, not at all. Some people are, I've made a video before, this is special forces training. Okay, so you got to deal with that, this mental body. Okay, so on top of the physical body, emotional body, mental body, then you have karmic contracts. You come here, the individuals did. The collective, they're still kind of here just to learn what it is to be in a body, and oh, this is life, and they're here to build a self-image. You've been there, done that. It's your time now to dissolve the self-image. This is what's tricky, all these different levels of consciousness. And YouTube sends it to everybody. So I'm like, all right, what can you do? So you have the karmic contracts, and I made a video about the 4 main categories. Usually, everybody predominates generally more strongly in one of these categories. Either struggles with money, struggles with relationships, meaning romantic relationships, family karma is a huge one, and health. Those are your 4 main categories, and usually the soul will incarnate and have a contract with one of those categories, because because you hit bottom. That causes a lot of pain, which then brings up your identity with this human self, which then causes you to suffer it, which then causes awakening, and that can only happen on this physical plane. So you have the 3 bodies of delusion, then you have the karmic contracts you come here to solve. That's a lot of stuff to deal with, isn't it? And so then on top of that, people are like measuring their spirituality like, oh, I don't feel like smiling at everybody today. I got in trouble once smiling. I practiced that. I was like 20. I was in LA, downtown LA, and I said, I'm gonna practice smiling. I just smile at everybody, be spiritual. I ended up smiling at these gang banners, and we almost threw down. And I realized, wait a minute, this is the mind like impersonating spirituality. So anyway, you don't worry about the particular form or expression that your life is taking. You focus on identity and ask God, ask intuition, be open to being free of that. That's all that matters. Whatever your expression is your expression. Some gurus live out in the wilderness and they throw rocks at people who come to their house. But super high level beings. See, in astral, you don't have the nervous system, you don't have the biological density, you don't have the survival mechanisms at play, you don't have all these things that make life so heavy there. So perception and clarity is just easy. You don't have all that. So don't expect. So you see why I'm trying to help. I talk about astral to help you understand the difference. It's the same you, the soul's the same in physical or astral, but it's wearing a different costume. Here you're wearing a very heavy costume. Hence, your experience here is going to be generally much heavier and limited than if you're on astral. Astral, you're not being weighed down by all this clutter, all this machinery. So you can just your lightness of being is easy. You feel it. It's right there. Your perception and clarity about things. It's just clear. You're not being, bothered by imbalances. So you can see things clear. When you got a bunch of distractions going on, what do you think? You can just skip down the street. You're supposed to skip down the street and say peace, love, and light, everybody. It's just not realistic. Sometimes we have to apply some intuitive common sense to this spiritual realm. Otherwise, you just get lost even deeper into delusion. That's why I've said before, I sometimes prefer talking to people who know nothing about the spiritual field. They don't study it or nothing, because I'm getting more of a real connection with them. They're just more real. The ego loves the spiritual realm. It's probably its favorite because it's the hardest to catch out in this realm. It hides and plays, and so don't worry if your peace is a bit stepped down here on this dimension. That's not your physical peace, your physical happiness. It has nothing to do with it's not a measuring stick for your realization or your spirituality. Do you know that though? It's not a belief, it's not an opinion, it's not. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying it as though it's the real truth. Do you know it's the real truth though? That's all that matters, because then you're the one that we all have to get liberated in our own individual way. As an individual, we can't, nobody else can liberate you. So these realizations you have to realize for your own self, but the benefit of reading them or hearing people speak can wake up your own dormant understanding and knowledge. This is the purpose of videos and the purpose for my books. I wrote a good spiritual book. You can see the link on the description, that I endeavored to break down spirituality and share what it really is. It's not some new age kind of in thing now to be spiritual. It's not about the act or the expression. It's about transformation. I have some books on preserving your sexual energy. I don't remember the last time I announced the books. I'm told I should announce it every 2 or 3 videos. So that's what I'm doing now. And I have a book on true health, because I had to learn, especially if you have imbalanced biology, nervous system, your practical lifestyle habits are going to make a big difference in terms of your experience in this physical form. I learned that diet and lifestyle habits and practical things, it's conserving my sexual energy, whoa, made a huge difference, man. That's why I share about them in the books I wrote. All right, so the last thing I want to touch on, I mean, I pretty much went through this, but Earth is a transformational plane. It's not a heavenly realm or hell realm. There's hell and heaven and everything in here, and mixed in here. But it's not a specific plane that's heavenly nor hell. It depends. It depends on so many things of what our experience is going to be. Our state of consciousness is going to determine if it's heaven or hell. Now here's the thing. On physical level, because of limitations, because of karma, you can be in hell. You can feel like hell. But if your realization is increasing, you can sense the heaven though still that's underneath. Remember the ocean example. The deep waters of your being, we can call that heavenly. Don't try to imagine what that is, because it's not it. It's just not it. You discover for your own self. It doesn't mean I can feel this peace inside, but like, why isn't it erasing the physical discomfort? I'm still in physical hell. It's a super paradoxical oxymoron, but only this plane can offer that kind of experience. This is a crazy plane, but it's the biggest opportunity here for transformation. That's the game of life: transformation, identity. Our formless self chose to embody in delusion and think it's that delusion, and then it suffers that, and then it wakes up. That takes place here in this dimension because of the strong duality and compression and intensity. That's what causes one to start reflecting and challenging this identity with being this little human self. When you start to challenge that and see it, your life can get much worse for a little bit. That's why you hear people sometimes, they say, oh, I started awakening, my life got really bad. Yeah, You start to see this delusion, but yet you see you can't do much about it. You don't have the power to, like, it's not enough just to be a non-dual oak and say, well, I realize it doesn't exist and that's it. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? So on this plane, it get embodied in delusion. You start to see the delusion. You suffer that delusion. You feel the burning of that delusion. Then you start to wake up. That's the benefit of this plane. I'm going to talk more about that in another video. So don't worry about it if this life feels brutal. You're not broken. You can't break your real self, but you're in a hell of a intense classroom right now. This is a very hard classroom, and for some more than others, have compassion for yourself. You're going to make it through it. It's just a fact. It's just the less you can take this self so personal and like, oh, this is me suffering, and I need to, the spiritual identity we have to dissolve too. I need to overcome this and be spiritual. All that's identity. Yes, there's a natural inclination that you want to evolve and grow. Yeah, of course. Honor that, cooperate with that. You have to sense the difference though between what's natural and what's deep identity. The more you can do that, the less intense this will feel. But don't have an idea of what less intense means. The mind will come up with some idea of what less intense means and then measure it and say, oh, I haven't reached that yet. You see how it's tricky? Life is what it is, man. Your karmic destiny is what it is. You're doing some heavy duty work here. Know that. That's it. I'm out. I'll see you.